With the tag team summons having recently come to an end, it's high time we get around to reviewing one of those new 5 stars. Great timing, Boar. Each of the characters has something to offer the player, whether it's the high SP of Toshiro that makes him one of the best technique characters in the game, or even the fact that we now have a ranged Ikaku, and he has a barrier and everything. Now a few days ago, back when the summons were still open, and when I should have done this review, I was lucky enough to get my very own 5 star, and it's that character that we are going to review today. That's why we are now about to review 5-star tag team Marechiyo Omaeda ni Totaramon Omaeda. I did that in one take, I promise. Marechiyo Omaeda is the lieutenant of Squad 2, serving under Captain Soy Fon. The squad is the Stealth Corps, the Stealth Division, those responsible for taking on clandestine activities. The two have a hostile relationship, with Soy Fon regularly berating her lieutenant, and even at times, physically assaulting him. Yet despite treating him almost like literal garbage, she does appear to have at least a semblance of respect for his abilities, if not for his laziness. Omaeda is in his position because he is a capable fighter, and much faster than his heavy build would imply. Now let's answer the central question of this review right off the bat. Is 5-star or even 6-star Tag Team Omaeda actually any good? Well, as any Russian speakers out there might say, oh my, da. Omaeda is a very balanced character. He has very balanced stats. His attack is at 724, while he has a 728 SP, so very balanced. As I mentioned earlier, Toshiro, very much the SP character of the banner, as was Ikaku. He also has 999 stamina and a solid 364 defense, and he also has 321 focus for the 3 of you out there who care. His affiliation is that of a Soul Reaper naturally, and his soul trait is low stamina damage boost, which sees damage inflicted increased by 30% when he's at low stamina, which is admittedly a terrible link. He's also a power card, and it should be noted that being a tag team card, he actually has 2 killers, although they somewhat overlap. The Soul Reaper killer and the Captain killer, so somewhat useful. It would have been nicer to have an Arankar killer on the part of Omaeda while his Zanpakuto, his tag team partner, has the Soul Reaper killer, but we didn't get that. Now looking at these stats, they're solid, in fact they're very good, it's a nice balance, but is it reflected in the gameplay? Despite his balanced stats, Tag Team Omaeda's strength really comes from his normal attacks. Wielding his Zanpakuto gets a booger. The person he's tagged with, you know who I'm on about. Omaeda's attacks are powerful. They have a knockback effect, which helps disperse large crowds of enemies and make sure that they can't come in and gang up on you. And they even have range. They're particularly effective when he's obviously at low stamina, gaining that plus 30% attack. Now, the only downside of his normal attacks is that they can rarely be a bit erratic, sometimes missing their targets. Nothing as bad as Yuhaba, but still, the range does occasionally have its downsides. One area I was slightly disappointed in Omaeda was in his strong attacks. Although they look impressive and he has a high SP, I often found myself only using them as mild support for his normal attacks, rather than the reverse. They all have guard break with multiple hits each, and that is useful. His strong attack 1 breaks guard and knocks enemies back, while his second strong attack is a moving vortex that traps enemies and pushes them all back together. His strong attack 3 is probably the most visually notable. It's a full screen attack which sees Omaeda wave his Zanpakuto around, leaving a nice cracked screen effect. What makes Omaeda's special effective is that it has multiple hits. Starting from a damage range of about 6,000, it can hit this multiple times. It also weakens the opponent's defense, lacking a strong status element, it has that going for it. As we mentioned earlier, he has the Soul Reaper and the Captain Killer. These are useful. The vast majority of powerful cards in this game are Soul Reapers, the exception being the new Fullbring cards, check out my video in the link, and characters like Yuha. But it does seem a bit redundant that it doubles up with the Captain and the Soul Reaper Killer, and it's a shame there's not an Rankar Killer in there as well. Now, looking at Omaeda's effects, he has Sprinter obviously, which increases the number of his flash steps, as well as Bruiser, which increases his normal attack damage by 40%, which just makes him such an effective normal attack damage character. He also has Berserk, which increases the attack strength of his strong attacks by 30%, making them stronger, and he also has the ability to weaken opponents' defense, as I previously mentioned, through his special move. He also has Bombardment, which increases the number of hits of his special move, and perhaps most notably, he has Slow Immunity, and I think he's the only character in the game with that. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So is Omaeda any good? Now, without resorting to painful language puns, he is a solid card. If you're like me and you had a dearth of good power cards, I really didn't have anyone other than Chris Messiah or Poro Grants, who's from, I believe, almost 2 years ago, then he's an excellent pickup. He has strong normal attacks, decent strong attacks, and can lead teams in certain PvE quests. That said, his poor soul trait, and the fact he lacks something like an Rankar or a Hollow Killer, means he can only be of limited value in PvE, and again, his poor soul trait really holds him back in PvP. Overall, Omaeda is a good card, certainly. He's not one of the best power cards, but he's certainly a solid pickup. Therefore, I give Omaeda a B grade overall. Now, depending on what modes you put emphasis on, that could go down to a C. If you really care about PvP, he's not very useful, and there are certain circumstances where you can see he does struggle, but in the vast majority of PvE quests, which incorporate most of the game, he is a solid card. So I give him a B. You may think more B-, C+, and you can make good arguments for that entire range. Thank you for listening. I've been the Traveling Boar. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And in the comments, give your thoughts. What grade would you give Omaeda? What do you see as his strengths and weaknesses in Brave Souls? Also, who do you want me to review next? I'm looking at reviewing some more classic cards like Technique Hisagi and some of the old Ichigos, but I'd really like to hear who you would like me to review. Anyway, I've been the Traveling Boar. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.